Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Let's Play Planet Coaster Project Globe Explorer here on Theme Park Worldwide. This is a very special video here on our YouTube channel because this is actually the 100th Planet Coaster video here on Theme Park Worldwide. And I'd just like to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you that has watched all of the Planet Coaster videos, the 5 different series that I've put together here on the channel. The first ever episode of Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide was uploaded on the 25th of November 2016, so quite a while ago now. I've been playing this game ever since the start, and I tell you what, I've learned so much along the way. 5 different parks that I've built. It started off with a mega park, Volcano Springs, that was absolutely huge. It was a big scale park, but my computer just couldn't handle it towards the end, so it never got finished off exactly how I would have liked it to. However, I managed to complete various different themed areas that all come together really nicely. Following on from that, there was 4 other parks. I'm going to be sharing some of my memories throughout this episode. But of course, what am I working on in this very special video? I am starting work on some more accommodation, the second set of accommodation here at Atlas Adventure Resort. And as I mentioned in the previous episode, this is going to be the more budget accommodation, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to look very nice, not at all. This is going to be a really nice Spanish town, like an old sort of mining town. That's kind of the idea that we're going for. I didn't want to go down the Wild West route with this because I thought, you know, that's kind of, it doesn't really fit with the rest of the park and what we've put together. But I thought, let's go for this Spanish town. All these different Spanish lodges, and yeah, you know, it's going to be very sort of close together accommodation. There's not going to be loads of land and stuff in between them, but yeah, that's exactly why I've put this path all around there now. That's like the main sort of path that's going to lead around the area, and yeah, we're going to need to build the lodges. So the plan here, very, very simple. I'm building some lodges here now, and then once I'm happy with how this one looks, I can then copy and paste that all throughout. I'm then going to do some waterfront lodges that'll be a little bit different with the design, and they'll be going along the waterfront just there. So that is the plan. But yeah, I can't believe it. Honestly, thank you so much to everyone that's watched the different series. I mean, Volcano Springs, that original park, I started off with like an RMC hybrid coaster, and that came together really nicely. My first time using all the tools, and I remember how long it took me really to learn about the game and all the different tools that come with it, and I still learn things to this day. You know, Planet Coaster is one of them games that you can put so much time and effort into, and it takes so long to put together. But yeah, I loved the hotel, what I did there, and this hotel that I built in the previous 2 episodes of this series was closely inspired by that, but just not as fantasy as that was. You know, I wanted to go a bit more realistic British style than fantasy. But yeah, the big haunted house dark ride I built back in that series as well. That was another one of my favorite rides, like a tracked ride, but obviously I covered the track up to make it a trackless dark ride, and that came together really nicely. But there was some great stuff in that park, and it was a brilliant series. It really was. Volcano Springs, blimey, what an amazing sort of time that was, looking back on it. And this week I've been looking back on my old Planet Coaster videos, and it's crazy to think how far it's come here on the channel. As you can see with the current building that I'm working on here, one of the lodges, putting in some nice details around there. Each building will have 2 lodges. That's why we've got 2 doors on the front. There's going to be windows on the front there as well, and on the sides and back of the building as well. I'd sort of, you know, with these, one of the lodges would probably be for families. The other one would be more of a just a double bed in there, whereas one of them would be a double and 2 singles, or maybe a bunk bed. I'm not going to be doing the interiors. With this, I'm not actually going to put the accommodation blocks that are in the game inside this. I am just making this so that it looks nice, and it is another piece of accommodation, but it won't actually function in the game, not like the hotel that I built in the previous 2 episodes, and also the hotel I'm going to build in the next episode as well. This is all just for fancy. I didn't want to sort of open this up too much for guests in the game to walk around, because I want them, of course, to go and experience the theme park and enjoy that. But as you can see, I've put together one of the buildings, and then the beauty of this game, unlike Roller Coaster Tycoon, is that we can just copy and paste them and put them into position. So that's the plan, putting them all around there now and putting that all together, all around the paths, as you'll see over the next couple of minutes. But yeah, the second part that I went on to build, the second series of Planet Coaster, was Ocean Bay Studios, a smaller park than Volcano Springs, but a really nice one, a studios-based park. I built a large B&M coaster, a launch coaster, at the entrance of the park, and I really wanted to give it that Mediterranean style look, and a lot of the buildings were kind of similar to what I'm putting in here actually, with this Spanish style. But yeah, that was a great park. Some of my favourite attractions in there was the Jaws ride that I did, my take on Jaws. That video went down really well. A lot of viewers on that. It's one of the most popular Planet Coaster videos on the channel. But yeah, I did this Jaws recreation. That went down really well. I did my own version of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Completely different storyline, but that style of building using the drop shafts. I did a studio tour. That went down really well. There was a wooden coaster and a water coaster. Indiana Jones themed, that was, the water coaster from Mack Rides, and that looked really good. And then I did a Back to the Future indoor Gerstlauer coaster, and that came together really well, with all the theming and stuff on there. The studios part was one of those that, you know, as it was going on, my ideas were changing throughout, and looking back on it, I wish I'd done some things a bit differently with Ocean Bay Studios, but it still ended up being a very different project. And you know, at some point I'd maybe like to revisit the studios park idea and try something along that. If my computer could handle it, to be honest, I would have tried to do a second park as part of Atlas Adventure Resort and done a studios park, but I just know that my PC wouldn't handle it. You know, I would have probably done the second park off to the right of the hotel area actually, and put it in there. And talking of this, as you can see, the lodges are mostly all in now, other than the waterfront ones, and I'm actually just extending out the boat area there now, putting in what is originally going to be another station, but as I decided to not make this accessible to guests around there, it's just going to be a fake station around there, and I removed that shortly, but it will look just like the other ones. You won't be able to tell. I can actually also put in a boat stop area in there as well, so the boat will be able to stop, but it just won't actually be a station where guests can unload and offload in the game. Of course, if it was a real park, then yes, you will be able to, but like I said, I don't want to make this area accessible to guests, because there's not actually any hotel blocks inside there in the lodges. It's just for fancy, this one, just to look nice and how it would look if it was a real park. There's also going to be another station going in just there, and that'll be for the third set of accommodation that I'll be building next, which will be on that plot of land that's got the sky ride and also the monorail going through it there as well. As you can see, the boat ride then comes back on itself down the other side of the water that we've got, and yeah, I'm just going to add it up, as you'll see now, on the other end, and connect it to it. At some point, if I do build anything on the other lake, then possibly there'll be another station or fake station in terms of in the game down that way. But yeah, in general, I'm just going to connect that up for now, and probably going to do something with that other lake. I've got a couple of ideas if the computer can handle it. Like I said, I would have loved to have done a studios park in there and done a second gate in this resort, and I suppose I could still do that, but do it on another map and pretend that it's next to it. But you know, it's not the same for me. I would have liked to have all done it on one map, but you never know, in the future might be something I can revisit, do some adjustments to this park and add a studios park, especially if I do some more PC upgrades in the future. But let's see with that one. But anyway, talking about of course the 100 videos of Planet Coaster here on the channel, let's go now to the third park that I built. I went with something completely different. It was an amusement park called Summerfield Shore, and this was like a typical seaside amusement park, like a boardwalk style, and I was really pleased with how this came together. After being unsure with some parts of the previous series with the studios park, I was really chuffed at how Summerfield Shore came all together. We put in a traditional chairlift, a wooden wild mouse, a traditional ghost train, a fun house. It was very, very traditional. It wasn't really theming, it was more some nice buildings with lights on and and very colourful style. Yeah, it all came together really nice. I built like a dueling wooden coasters, like a racing coaster. That went in really well. We had a huge Ferris wheel with all these gardens, with no rides in that part at all, just gardens. And all that came together really nicely. We then sort of moved forward, built a looping coaster as the park sort of developed over time. And that's got a lot of expansion space back at the back of that park. There's not much that I did there that I would have changed, to be honest. I really, you know, I would have loved to have made some more changes with Volcano Springs, and there's quite a bit that I would have done different looking back on the Studios park. However, with Summerfield Shore, I loved all of it, and to be honest, you know, I'd love to revisit that maybe in the future and expand that more, because there's a lot more land behind it to do that. But yeah, that was the third series. Of course, all of these that I'm talking about are all still on the channel. You can watch them all, see how Planet Coaster's developed here on the channel, and my skills have improved and stuff, and ideas have changed. You can go back through and see all that, and all of these 100 Planet Coaster videos are in this playlist here on the channel. You can view the playlist over on our main channel page, and that will take you back through all of these episodes, and you can go way back through it all in the playlist. As you can see here, I copied and pasted the station that was out the back of the main hotel, and then changed the roof pieces and some other bits here to make this look like a real functioning station. But it's actually not. It's a fake station. But as you can see, the boats come in, they'll actually stop there, as you can see, and then they'll move onwards again. Like I said, I didn't really want to make this a guest accessible area, mainly because I'm going to have to limit the amount of guests coming into the park because of how it's going to run on the PC in terms of lag. So yeah, I didn't want to sort of have guests walking around here when I want them to experience the rides that I've got also in the park, and the little entertainment area that we've built as well. So these waterfront lodges that are going in here, I've got like balconies on the back, and they look all out over the river just there, and I think that's a really nice idea, and kind of inspired a little bit by the Polynesian at Walt Disney World, how that's got these lodges out the back. And when you get the boats from the Transportation and Ticket Centre over to Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, you see these really nice chalets on the water, really nice, and that's kind of what gave me the inspiration to do these. Yeah, and putting these little tables on the back just there, not the tables that you probably use, the more indoor ones, but I thought, you know, they're gonna have to do for this really in terms of what's available in the game. But yeah, also changing some of the windows and stuff on there as well, as you can see, just to, you know, feature with the positioning that we've got around there. So yeah, that's all coming together nicely. We've got some lighting going around there now, and shortly I'm going to be moving on to some of the theming. Like I say, it's going to be this Spanish town. They've got a bit of like history in terms of mining and all this sort of stuff, and that's what we're going to be going along with some of the trucks here, all sorts of random stuff that I'm going to be putting in theming wise, as you're going to see over the next 5 minutes or so. It's all going to get very random, very different, but have a loose sort of theme. We've got some animatronics going in there, and yeah, you know, like I said, I wanted to make this look really pretty, just because it is the more budget accommodation compared to the luxury hotel. Still, you know, it's still going to be really nice and have a nice feel about it, and some people may prefer this in terms of staying there because of, you know, you've got your own private space around you, haven't you? You don't just go into a hotel corridor, you've got all the lodges around. And that's something that I really like, actually, about the Enchanted Village at the Alton Towers Resort. That's a really good bit of accommodation, what they've got there. You know, and all of that comes together really nicely with the fantasy fairy tale style theme. So yeah, I thought we'll sort of go for something a little bit different with this, though. Half sort of with that miney style Wild West theming, but with a Spanish theme mainly. We've got some tents and chuck wagons and stuff going around. Originally, I thought about doing a little chuck wagon resort, you know, and have like some accommodation there, but then I started to think about future plans that I've got for more series here on the channel, and yeah, that started to think, well, I don't want to get it too close to what I might do in the future. So there we go, dropping a few hints as to what you might be able to see in the future. But yeah, this is coming together nicely, as you can see. All sorts of random bits of theming, a water tower going in there, more vehicles, and shortly we'll go on to changing the terrain and also putting in some rocks and landscaping as well all the way around here. It wouldn't be be an area built by me if there wasn't some hashtag rock work, would it? Come on, let's face it. And that's become a bit of a thing, really, a bit of a saying after all of the Planet Coaster videos that I've done here on Theme Park Worldwide. Hashtag rock work. It's even got people in the industry saying it now. I know some of the guys down at Poulton's Park posted something the other day on Twitter, and it was hashtag rock work for Tornado Springs. So yeah, it's good to know that people watch this series, and hi out there to all of you that work in the theme parks that are, of course, watching this. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, we're going to be back in the parks later this year, and whenever it's safe to do so, here at Theme Park Worldwide, we'll be visiting as many parks as we can, supporting as many parks out there, family-owned parks, parks that are owned by business, like corporations and larger companies. We're going to be supporting all parks after this and visiting as many as we can, just like we always have done, but I'll be making even more effort to get to many more whenever we can do after this, especially to support them because they're going to need it after this. The theme park industry, much like other industries, is going to take a big hit because of COVID-19. So we need to make sure that we're all out there supporting our parks the best we can do, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing when it's safe to do so here on Theme Park Worldwide. Loads and loads of trees going in now. We've had some of that rock work going in, and yeah, it's starting to look a bit more tropical, a bit Spanishy. Of course, we've got the sky ride that runs over the top. When I placed that quite a few episodes back now, I thought about the positioning of this hotel with all the different lodges around, and I thought, well, you know, I want the sky ride to go over the top of it. And again, that's kind of inspired a little bit by Walt Disney World, because you've got the sky ride that goes over some of their accommodation, like the Skyliner, what they put in, and it goes over some of theirs. So I thought that would, you know, work quite nice for this, sort of going with that style. It goes over the Caribbean beach resort, so I thought, you know, it works really well at Walt Disney World. Let's do something similar to that here at Atlas Adventure, and it means that guests can look down from up there on the accommodation, from the sky ride at the accommodation. It promotes it as well. They could have some audio on there promoting the hotels, and obviously you can look over to the swimming pool and stuff from on there, and the monorail, so you can have audio promoting that, and it makes people want to stay in that different themed accommodation then as well. So you know what I'm like, my mind goes off when I'm doing this. Like, it goes off on one thinking it's a real theme park, even though it's just a simulation on a game. Honestly, like, I feel like it's my real park, and I put my heart and soul into this, and I know a lot of you guys do as well when you play the game, and especially coming up with names as well, and themes for things. That can be the hardest. Of course, we've got all these different lodges here in this Spanish set of accommodation, but we need a hub. We need a reception area, somewhere for entertaining in the evenings, a bar, a restaurant, and yeah, obviously, of course, like a luggage storage and check-in area. So that's all going to be within this building here. Like I said, I'm not going to do the interior, it's the exterior only that I'm focusing on with this building. However, I'm going to put a little balcony out the back. Obviously, you're going to have, you know, all the different signage and stuff on the outside as well. And I want to make sure there's a walkway that's going to connect this all the way around into the entertainment district. So, as I mentioned previously, I'm not going to connect the Spanish accommodation that we've got here with the British hotel that I've built previously. There's not going to be a path that directly connects them, even though they're next to each other. I want to keep them quite separate, especially with that being more of a premium hotel. However, if guests want to jump on a boat, they can go and visit that hotel if they want to via boat, or they can walk the long way round, you know, but I'm just not going to make it directly easy to access that hotel, just so the paths don't get clogged up and stuff. If it was real, again, I'm going off on one as if it was real, but I wouldn't want the pathways to get clogged up and stuff. I want to make sure that if you've paid for that premium experience of that hotel, you are getting that, and you're getting that exclusivity. So yeah, there is going to be a path that runs around this way that's going to connect to the other boat station, and also to the other hotel as well. Following that, you could walk around a little bit more, jump on the sky ride, the cable car, or you could just walk around to the park in general, or get on the parking trolley, or whatever. You know, there's all them different options. So yeah, there is going to be this path, but it'll bring you around the left hand side of the lake, as we can see it if you're looking out from this building that I'm putting in now. This would be a really nice balcony with all sorts of music and stuff on an evening. Imagine someone on there playing like a guitar, or, you know, have a band on there and all that kind of stuff, you know, just to entertain guests. And like I say, that's like the hub of this Spanish resort area that we've put in. But anyway, let's go back through some of more of the history, shall we, of the Planet Coaster series that we've done on the channel. So Paradise Park Indoor Adventures was the 4th park that I built. This was a small mini series that I put together. Obviously at the time last year was very, very busy with other videos on the channel, visiting loads of places. Of course, we had a lot of trips and stuff planned. So this time last year we was gearing up for our big America road trip. So I didn't have anywhere near as much time to play Planet Coaster. It probably would have been the same this year, to be honest. Now, if it wasn't for what's going on in the world, it would have been the same. You know, this series wouldn't have got completed anywhere near as quick as it's going to with things. I think we'd have been still way back building some of the areas, maybe even back in the USA area, to be honest, doing the New York buildings if it wasn't for this and the episodes coming out as regular as they have done. Because a lot of effort and a lot of time goes into these, you know, and that's the thing, it takes a long time. But yeah, going back to Paradise Park Indoor Adventures, this was a challenge I set myself. I built the structure of the building first and said, how many rides can you fit inside there? I ended up getting about 15 rides in there, and there was all sorts. There was a few different themed areas that I did. It was all themed around these different sections, and it came together really nicely. We had like this colder, wintry sort of area at the back, with a Schwarzkopf looping coaster that I was really pleased with how that came in. Along with that, we had a coaster in the top right corner with like a Mediterranean feel. We had like an Arabian area, and of course a Wild West mine train in there as well. There was like an Aztec themed log flume, a Zamperla disco right down the middle that was a really nice boundary to separate the areas, and I was pleased with that park. I put in windows all around the outside to let in some natural light. I put windows on the roof as well. Looking back, I wish I'd maybe tried to do a bit more theming on the roof, but then I think actually it focuses it all on ground level and the buildings, and there would have been a lot more lighting in there if it was a real park. In the game I'd put a lot of lighting in, but if it was real there'd have been even more. So it's kind of like one of them things. I would have focused it a lot more on lighting if it was a you know, a real park. But yeah, I was very, very pleased at how that came together with all the rides, and that Schwarzkopf looping coaster, I loved that at the back, just the way it went through all the buildings, and it was a challenge to get that right because it went right up to the top of the roof in there, and all them different buildings that interacted with the rocks and different sections. It was tough to build, but I tell you what, it was worth it. I'd probably say it's my favourite ride I've ever built in the game, or at least one of them. This part that I've built here, obviously Atlas Adventure, has took things to another level for me with theming and the layouts. But yeah, I was really, really pleased at Schwarzkopf looping coaster, and I'd love to make more classic rides going forward in the future. But yeah, you know, here we are now. I mean, this is the 5th park that I'm building, another big series. Like I say, you know, the only big full-on series really was Volcano Springs, and for the size of the park, it was huge. But you know, following on from that, I did a couple of smaller projects, and we're back here with the mega park. And after this, you know, I can exclusively reveal now the plans are to stay away from doing another mega park now, at least for the foreseeable future, and concentrate on some more smaller, detailed projects. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean actual theme parks. This could be just areas that I could build themed around different things. And when I say go to town on the theming, I mean unlike anything I've ever done before, taking what I've done in Atlas Adventure to another level, and maybe even building some individual dark rides and stuff that, you know, I'd love to do in this park, but I just know that the game, my PC won't handle it. So, you know, that is something that I'm looking at going forward. You know, the next projects that you're going to see, maybe smaller mini projects, kind of how we did the series for the indoor park. However, you know, it may just be some, you know, I might just do a ride at some point. I might just do a coaster that's very, very heavily themed. It's got a backstory, it's got audio, and just do that as a one-off project and stuff. So that's kind of the route that I'm planning to go down next. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to build a big park again, or any park again, because I'm sure I will do. But you know, in terms of how I'm feeling at the moment, I've covered a lot of things now in this game, and I know you guys love Planet Coaster, and I'm certainly not going to end the series, well, end doing a series on the channel, but I'm going to freshen things up a bit and try something new instead of jumping straight in and doing another park. Something I would like to do, and I've hinted at before as well, is some sort of accommodation what's got a few rides, but it's like a centre park style idea, and a water park. Obviously it wouldn't really be functional to guests, but in the game, use the facilities, what there is, use all the stuff. And I've always, wanted to use stuff in the game, not make my own stuff in terms of importing things into the game. I like to use the files and pieces that are in the game already rather than making my own. But who knows, going forward I may look at doing more other things with billboards and screens, and I'd like to do a big motion based dark ride. So that's where I'm looking after this. And of course there's still going to be a few more episodes now in this series until this park is complete, but that'll be it then. I've built 5 theme parks. I think it's time, after over 4 years, to freshen it up and not just focus on doing a park, but focus on some other smaller projects that can be even more heavily detailed. So that is the plan going forward for Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. Of course, I need a name for this Spanish mining resort that we've put together. And like I say, it's only a loose mining theme. It's more just this Spanish village, the town that I've put together. So come up together with the theming ideas. I would love to know. It's come together really nice with all the details and theming. I'm very, very pleased with it. I think it's looking nice. Some signs around there. We've got some old train tracks, a locomotive there at the back. We've got the path that connects round to where the next hotel is going to be. And if you haven't guessed already, that's where we're going to be in the next episode. We're going to be working on that, the next hotel, and that's going to be another premium style hotel. I've got the idea for the theme now. It took me ages to decide on what theme I was going to go with, but let's just say, after doing this based on the Spanish area and having a British themed hotel, I feel like it'd be rude not to have another hotel based on already an existing area in the park. For people who love that area, they can get immersed in it and stay there for the night. And that is the plan when I build the next hotel. Well, I'm going to keep you in suspense. You're going to have to wait until the next episode for that one. But like I say, with all reminiscing, going back on these old episodes, go back and check them out. Honestly, I appreciate all of your support here on the channel. I've been even watching them back myself and just forgetting things and thinking, blimey, that looked really good, or oh, I'm not too keen on what I did with that there. I'd have done that different. It's been really good fun learning about it. And if I was genuinely going to answer the question, what's been my favourite park I've built, I would of course say Atlas Adventure. This is the one for me. It's took all that experience that I've done from all them different parks. It's took, parts from Volcano Springs that I really liked, parts from Ocean Bay Studios, Summerfield Shore Amusement Park, Paradise Park Indoor Adventures even. There's some theming areas there that I thought, let's do that but make it outside. And it's all come together into Atlas Adventure Resort, and I'm so proud of this park. I really am. It's come together amazingly, and it'll be quite sad when it's done, but like I say, with this there is going to be some areas left for you to expand on. When you can download this game, you'll be able to expand it. I will be uploading it to the workshop when I've finished with it, and that is certainly something for you guys to all look forward to. But there we go. Here's a little look, an overview there of the park, the accommodation, the resort area, and looking out at the park. You've got the sky ride there, the coaster in the background. It's so scenic. I'm really pleased with how it's come together. I really am. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching the 100th Planet Coaster video here on Theme Park Worldwide. I'm Sean Sandbrook. Thank you very much for watching, and that means it's time to cue those credits. See you all in the next episode.